Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Rotoworld Football Show, Tuesday, October 14th, 2025. I'm Patrick Daugherty, joined as always by Denny Carter. We're going to break down the 52nd Monday Night Football doubleheader of the 2025 season. The doubleheaders will continue until morale improves. This has become the classic, like, people complain about it, and the people that do the Norman Rockwell meme, like, I like Monday Night doubleheaders. Like, you know what? Good for you. I don't. You're a bad person.
Wow.
I like being able to dial in on one game.
I get that. As an early bedtime bro, I enjoy the 7:00 start, 7:15 start. So
that is nice. I'm assuming if you're an early bedtime East Coast bro. So talk about the Falcons beating the Bills. Bills not looking great several weeks running. The Bears with their second straight 25-24 victory.
Really?
Little fact. It was the first time, this is not a joke, since 1926 a team had won by 1 point by the same score back-to-back weeks. And the previous one was 7-6. It was a team called the Frank Ford something. I don't even know where Frank Ford in America is. Anyways, the Bears won.
Yeah, it's good. Is that called a scoregami?
Yeah. Well, no. A scoregami is a score that's never been scored before.
I'm very unclear about what a scoregami is.
A scoregami is when there's never been that score in the history of the league before. Say like a 40-40 tie between the Green Bay Packers and Dallas Cowboys. There had never been a 40-40 tie in the entire history of the NFL.
All right.
That's what a scoregami is. Yeah. Anyways, those games happened. We'll break them down. We'll look forward to Thursday night. Just looking at my binoculars, Steelers-Bengals game that's happening. We'll talk about the Flacco-sants, the 19th different Flacco-sants. And we'll talk about some news to begin the show. Garrett Wilson out a couple of weeks.
Yeah.
The Titans have fired their head coach, Denny. Yeah. What you thought at the top of the show? Maybe we talk about what I'm doing this evening. I'm driving to Iowa, where I've never been before.
Okay.
Never set foot in the state of Iowa, even though it touches Missouri, big border with Missouri. Always like crossing a new state off my list. How about you tell the people why I'm going to Des Moines, Iowa?
Yeah, so we're recording this a little early so Pat can get to Des Moines to watch freaking Paul McCartney perform his songs. And I thought, listen, as an older millennial who has boomer taste in music, I thought this was the coolest thing. I told my kids.
Did you really?
And my son, you know, he's not like a Beatles admirer, but he was like, "Wow, he's still alive?"
I know.
And
he's 83.
I said he's very old. But yes, he's still alive, he's still performing. I thought it was cool. And it also reminded me, you know, because I know, you know, we're gonna talk about it, maybe you're gonna post about it or something. I don't know. But it also reminded me of the most boring cultural take in history, which is that the Beatles were overrated.
Yeah, come on. It's pretty much the sign of an intellectual poser if you do that, because it's like the third rail. Like, they're not going to be ready for when I hit them. The Beatles are bad. They are not going to be ready for this. And yeah, whatever. It's not my fault. Your brain is broken.
Right. We've heard it 1 million times.
It's not my fault. You can't enjoy the, you know, once in a century-esque melodies of Paul McCartney and John Lennon. That's fine with me. I don't care. Even George Harrison, I don't care.
Well, there's also the take that they took inspiration from other music, which would make them the first artists to ever do so.
I know. And it's so funny, though. Unlike the Stones, who I also love the Stones, the Beatles, you can't like pinpoint, or like, God forbid, Led Zeppelin. Like Led Zeppelin, sometimes you can pinpoint like the exact like chord progression they lifted from the blue. I also love Led Zeppelin, for the record. But the Beatles, like, there's nothing where like, well, that's clearly, you know, from Lead Belly.
Right.
That's clearly from Bach. And like, no, it's just clearly from Paul.
I mean, look, there's a lot of Rolling Stones that sounds like they're doing like a blues bit.
Yeah, no, I know. Cosplay or whatever.
You're like, wait, what if we sounded like we were playing in downtown Memphis at 3:00 in the morning? You know, like let's do a song like that. You know.
By the way, now one that is much more fiercely, genuinely debated: Paul versus John. I've always been a Paul guy. Just not gonna lie.
You've been a Paul truther.
I like the Paul melodies, so I like to see Sir Paul. 83. I'm sure his voice still sounds the exact. But I made one of the worst decisions of my life.
Yeah,
so Denny knows I'm a Beatles fanatic.
Yes.
I'm the only Beatles fanatic there is, by the way. A humongous Beatles fanatic, as one does. Paul came to St. Louis in 2016 to Busch Stadium. Mm-hmm. And my daughter, my first kid, was only like 3 months old. I think I had to work that. For some unknown reason, I did not go. Like, I cannot actually get inside my head for why I didn't go. Like, it's one of those decisions. You know, sometimes you make a decision in life, you're like, I genuinely don't know what was happening.
Why didn't I do it
at that time? And I did not go, and I've been regretting it ever since. Hence, why I'm driving to Des Moines on a Tuesday in the middle of football season. In the middle of the football season, Denny.
All right.
Yeah, enough about that. Boy, so if you didn't want to hear about my musical tastes, guess what you're really not going to want to hear about is my absolutely ruined fantasy football teams. The Happy Hour League with Matthew Berry. I have Bucky Irving. I have Puka Nacua. I have Garrett Wilson.
Oh.
Garrett Wilson is out, Denny, quote, a couple of weeks. I mean, talk about a mega yikes. Kind of like this is the classic, like, I know things are bad for the Jets, but at least their only good player isn't hurt. And now their only good skill player, Garrett Wilson, not including Breece Hall, is hurt. He's been out there laying it all on the line. He was trying to teach Aaron Glenn the game of football.
I know.
Halftime on Sunday in London.
Embarrassing.
But 0-6, he's probably going to take his time to get ready to heal. Is there anyone of note in the New York Jets skill core with Garrett Wilson sideline? Mason Taylor face planted against the Broncos. I'm going out of town, so I'm doing waivers Tuesday morning instead of Tuesday evening. I'm seeing Josh Reynolds projected for a lot of points. By a lot, I mean like 7.2.
Yeah, right.
Can you take us through the fallout of the post-Garrett Wilson landscape?
All right. The first thing you need to know about the Jets is that they stink, and they never want to pass the ball if they don't have to. In neutral pass script, their neutral pass rate is 39%. That's dead last in the league. So really,
sounds like a typo when you say that. 39%.
39%. Of course, they don't see a lot of neutral game script because their defense gets blown out of the water approximately 3 minutes into the game. I mean, Mason Taylor might actually function as the wide receiver one here. He's second in air yards and targets on the team. He has a target per route run of 22% over the past 3 games. It's pretty strong. I know week 6 was horrific, but whatever. It happens. Josh Reynolds, I guess, would be the wide receiver one. In week 7, he goes against Mason Taylor goes against a Panthers defense allowing 7.5 targets per game to tight end. So maybe you could just get there on volume. I don't know.
Maybe this game, by the way, I don't think I'm incorrect on this. So again, I'm trying to get ahead of my work this week because I'm leaving for a middle of the day in the football season. And the Jets were initially favored for this game somehow. It has since flipped since Garrett Wilson. I think Garrett Wilson is apparently worth 2 or 3 points. But
I think so.
Worth 2 or 3 points. I don't know how the Jets were ever favored to begin with. Like, as everyone knows, one of my absolute favorite things to do is to pile on the Panthers. But it's like Panthers should probably be favored in this game, and they're now favored. But
yeah,
Josh Reynolds. I mean,
it's bad. I will say about Justin Fields, like I know is bad. I have him in Superflex all over the place, so that was horrible. But the Panthers have no pass rush to speak of. He should be able to run around a little bit, do some cool things.
Do we dabble to take, like, since Braylon Allen went on injured reserve, Isaiah Davis has not really been involved.
No, yeah.
But now with no passing game to even speak of, is there a chance we get like one of those early days with the Eagles, Jalen Hurts starts, where it's like the game plan says 53 rushes no matter what? And like we got to establish the run. And Isaiah Davis maybe gets going in this game finally.
And then you have Breece Hall passive aggressively asking for a trade, I think.
I wouldn't even say it was passive aggressively. It was more like outwardly and angrily. He said free 20.
Oh, he did. Okay. I forgot. Exactly.
There was a hashtag that said free 20.
I guess that's not so passive then.
No.
It's more on the aggressive side.
Yeah. yes, outward aggressive. They're outward aggressive.
Oh my gosh, Aaron Glenn's done. He's done, right?
Yeah, probably.
Wow.
Yeah,
I really thought he was going to succeed, but no.
I kind of did too, because a lot of success as a coordinator, like tutelage under not just Dan Campbell. Not that he's going to learn a ton from Dan. Aaron Glenn had a long career. He's about the same age as Dan Campbell, but coached for Dan Campbell, coached for Sean Payton.
Right.
I think he played for Bill Parcells. It's like he's got the right stuff. But we forgot one important thing. He was coaching the New York Jets.
I guess it's just a black hole. Like
it is,
where your career just goes to die, no matter who you are, quarterback, coach, whatever.
No light can escape.
No, it's truly something. I mean, Aaron Rodgers went in there, one of the greatest quarterbacks of all time, and was just swallowed up immediately.
He was. It actually is kind of insane when
he emerges as like a perfectly fine starting quarterback in Pittsburgh.
I think it might have a little something to do with an ownership group who has a son named Brick, who then comes in and makes decisions partly based on madness.
I was hoping you wouldn't say the word Brick.
It's just reporting the facts. Listen, as a family, I've got a big family. Nicknames happen from time to time. How do you allow one of your children to start going by Brick? How does this happen?
It's not his given name.
I don't think so.
Okay.
Bricklayer Johnson. They probably tried to do something cool like Bricklayer. And of course, everyone's called him Brick. I don't know, whatever. The Jets, they stink. Nothing left to say. Talk about nothing left to say, really. The Tennessee Titans, realistically, I assume nothing can change. I mean, Brian Callahan was a problem. He's probably the least of their problems, just one of many problems. He's out. Mike McCoy, the Zoomers will not remember. Mike McCoy is in somehow as the interim head coach. Yeah. He's got, 12 weeks to do something with this. Do we think anything changes for the Titans offense, which, we weren't like high on the Titans. We were like, this could be like interesting. Cam Ward loves to sling it around the yard. And it's not been interesting.
I thought it would be interesting. I totally catastrophically wrong on that front. I covered the Titans Raiders game on Sunday because you hate me, and they clearly the Titans didn't even really know where to line up. It looked like maybe like a preseason game, or maybe even worse, maybe like a training camp practice. No leadership whatsoever. Cam Ward can't be expected to just step in and command this team as a rookie.
He's kind of even trying.
He is trying.
In the press conferences, he's trying to assert himself and be like the dartboard, take the slings and arrows. But even as a number one overall pick, like you said, that's not really appropriate.
He's trying. And when he said, excuse my language, but when he said "we ass,"
if we keeping it a buck.
When he got in trouble. He got in trouble with the veterans on the team, so you can't say that. And he's like, "Why? We're bad." Anyway,
that's actually a really good sign. I didn't hear that story. That's a good sign.
Mike Silver had a good piece. He talked with Cam Ward right after Callahan was axed. So, and he had some strong words. I mean, Cam Ward. I hope he sticks around for a long time because he's very interesting. He's a very interesting guy. He's the last interesting quarterback.
I know he's like the last one who doesn't seem like he's been molded by the quarterback industrial complex since the age of 5.
Not yet. We'll see.
That's true.
Anyway, I don't think much will change here. I was just looking at the offense in general. It's a bad offensive line, first of all, so I don't really know how that changes. 25th in rush yards before contact this season. 2.5% explosive rush rate. It's the lowest in the league. 2.5%.
Seems low.
Cam Ward is being pressured on 41% of his dropbacks. That's just crazy. Against the Raiders, he had just no chance. Maybe a quick passing game, something of that nature. I don't know. I don't think anything really changes.
So the last time Mike McCoy called plays was for the 2018 Arizona Cardinals. I wish I had their Wikipedia already pulled up. Not sure what quite he was working with there, but anyways, this guy hasn't called plays in 7 years. He was most recently Doug Peterson's quarterbacks coach. Boy, wow. Oh, God. He was he was the offensive coordinator for one of the Paxton Lynch Broncos teams. He was the offensive coordinator for the Steve Wilkes Cardinals. Wow. Yeah, I mean, there's no hope here.
No, this is not good.
This is not good. My prediction, Denny, even though he just laid out some of the reasons it's going to be difficult for them to do it, they're not getting explosive runs. They can't block. The interim coaches are here to do two things, and that is to be slightly marginally better than the guy they just replaced, because there's always some hopeful bounce, and to establish the run. And Mike McCoy's all out of a slightly hopeful marginal bounce.
Yeah.
He's here to establish the run. And especially since it makes too much sense. They just got Tajay Spears back. We got two backs. We got to feed them both the ball. I think we're going to see a massive run game commitment for the Titans.
I want to make a quick point on the backfield here. Tajay Spears in his second game back functioned primarily as the pass catching back, assuming that the Titans are going to be stuck in horrible game script most weeks. That probably means that Tyjae Spears is out there running routes, maybe catching checkdowns. Could be interesting in deeper formats. I don't know.
No, Tyjae Spears will be interesting in deeper formats, I think. And I don't know. Like the interim coaches, as they get their bearings, a lot of times the only thing they know how to do is run the football. That's just kind of my guess. And, this isn't like absolute. Well, yeah, never mind. I forgot they're playing the Patriots. I thought they were playing their touchdown underdog.
Oh, man. Vrabel's going to run it up, man.
Oh, my God. I forgot about the Vrabel thing.
Vrabel's going to put 50 on him.
Mike McCoy is going to be – dude, Drake May. This is going to be the highest pass rate over expected of his entire career, probably. In this
Especially because he doesn't have any running backs who are good. Oh, real quick. We have a blurb. I made sure of it. Mike Vrabel said after the game the other day against the Saints, he said, look, my running backs, they're focusing too much on ball security.
Oh, wow. Finally, someone admits it, by the way. Like, this is actually ruining the modern NFL. The total obsession with not fumbling and not throwing picks.
Yeah.
Like, dude, throwing some Adrian Peterson film, the guy didn't care if he fumbled.
It happens. Yeah. I mean, so he said it's actually limiting their running game, their rushing attack, because these guys are so terrified to fumble. I wonder why that is, Mike.
I know we're all trying to find the extremely scary man responsible for that. Don't ever stand in an elevator.
I'm so scared.
Mike Vrabel. Falcons 24, Bills 14. It was almost 28-7 right before halftime. Drake London gets tackled at the 1 yard line. Could have ended the game there. You just got the feeling like the Bills were going to win the game then, because that's what the Bills do.
Yeah.
That's what the Falcons do. The Falcons played their part. The second half, the Falcons did not seem particularly interested in winning the game. Like, they were trying to do everything humanly possible to not win. That late crosser, Michael Penix, he kind of winked at the defense, like, I'm going to throw you a pick six, bro. Just take it, all right? They don't take it. The Falcons do not play well in the second half. The Bills somehow play even worse and do not win the game. Concerning performance, I would say, back-to-back subpar performances. Josh Allen is averaging only – so I'm talking about, like, teams getting too focused on avoiding interceptions. Josh Allen is not trying to make explosive plays down the field anymore. He's averaging only 201 yards passing since that shootout with the Ravens in week 1. He has only one rushing score in the past 5 weeks. Are we worried about the Bills? Or are we worried about Josh Allen in fantasy, Denny?
I'm worried about the Bills' offense in general. I think they've sort of been found out a little bit. And also their defense is so bad that it sort of makes them one-dimensional.
Can I say something, by the way?
You can.
I think we're finally seeing – not finally. When we were growing up, when we were coming of age in football media, there was such a snarky, just laughter about teams wanting to stop the run, being able to run the ball. Then you see the Buffalo Bills. When you cannot stop the run, it's genuinely you don't even want to be around anymore. That's kind of where the Bills' defense is at right now. They cannot stop the run.
The Buffalo defenders on Monday night looked around like, what are we doing? What? Can we just go home? The Falcons were gashing them with RB1 Tyler Algier and RB2 Bijan Robinson. So I think that could limit the Bills' offense going forward. I just a couple of stats on Josh Allen. He's 6th overall in completion rate over expected, so that's kind of par for the course.
That's a good cope. That's a good cope metric.
Here's something that stood out. He's 30th out of 33 qualifying quarterbacks in first read target rate. I think that means that he's not liking what he's seeing on design throws, and then he's just pulling out of the play and trying to be Superman. I think that kind of comes back to the fact that he's playing with a bunch of, I'm sorry to say, very middling receivers. I'm trying to be nice here, but Khalil Shakir should be like an RB running back, wide receiver 3 on a team, not a wide receiver 1. And by the way, he's not even close to that right now.
No, that's actually that first read stat is really either he's not liking what he's seeing or they're just blanketed, like they can't get open because they're not meant to be the first read on a play. Keon Coleman, Khalil Shakir, Josh Palmer, all of them are probably ideally wide receiver 3s. This is called the Chiefs paradox.
Yeah.
Having 5 wide receiver 3s, that might be cool because it means you have no wide receiver 5s. It also means you have no wide receiver 1s.
Not even close. Yeah. Just one more note on Allen. He has a 10% scramble rate this season. That's in line with Justin Fields, that ranks 4th among quarterbacks. So the running should still be there. As for the receivers, like I guess Keon Coleman is the wide receiver one. He leads these team with a 19% target share, 33% air yard share. He's being targeted on 22% of his routes, which is not outstanding, but it's way better than anybody else. Like I mentioned, the first read targets, like Keon Coleman has 25 first read targets. Khalil Shakir is second with 16. So that's not close. Josh Palmer is just like a downfield rotational option.
It's weird. Yeah.
I don't know.
I heard the name Tyrell Shavers several times on Monday evening.
Yeah.
Since week 1, by the way, Keon Coleman. So week 1, he went Gabe Davis mode. But since then, 26 yards, 20, 45, 23, 11. And it's not on like amazing target totals, but it's on higher than that target totals. And looks like the haters were right.
Right. I mean, the Bills totally whiffed on that pick. Yeah. Unfortunately.
They absolutely did. Man, the Bills. Why are the Eagles depressing? Why are the Bills depressing? Why is everything so dumb? Like, what? I'm about to get into too many different rants, but like the salary cap. The main thing, salary caps in sports, they're trying to bring a salary cap to baseball. I say, first off, so many reasons I'm against it. The main reason I'm against salary caps in sports is because when it's about salary cap, it's not about talent acquisition. It's then about money management. And when you win a championship, the first question is always like, all right, who do they have to get rid of now? Who can't they? The Thunder win the NBA Finals last year, and like almost literally immediately, it's like, all right, which of these guys can't they keep?
Yeah.
My Blues won the Stanley Cup, and like immediately it's like, all right, we got to get rid of Alex Pietrangelo. And like you see, like these teams that are supposed to be special teams of special players, the Chiefs went half a decade without being able to afford a wide receiver. Now the Buffalo Bills can't afford a wide receiver, and it just kind of degrades the product. I'm very angry.
So you're saying
and also
no salary cap?
I am either like no salary cap, or at least just do the luxury tax. So there's a pseudo cap, but if you want to exceed it, you can. I feel like there needs to be ways to keep special teams together. Is my biggest complaint about it. You have to be able to keep special teams together. It's not good for anyone if like the best teams of sport are always being dismembered for arbitrary reasons. Makes anything that puts the St. Louis Cardinals on equal footing with the Pittsburgh Pirates, it's over my dead body, right? Yeah, actually, no, I wouldn't die for that. But anyways, salary caps, be careful what you wish for. Bijan Robinson, Denny, you say he's the RB2 on the Falcons, but is he the number 1 overall player in fantasy? Posting historic numbers.
Both things can be true, by the way.
They can.
Yeah, of course he is. I mean, like it's insane. The Falcons have gone ultra giga mega run heavy over the past
I would say years. 2 run heavy a little. Another, let Penix throw every once in a while, maybe.
Robinson is like really seeing a ton of pass game work. It doesn't matter that Algier sees like in good game script sees like 8 touches a game. It just doesn't matter for Robinson.
It really doesn't.
I will say like last night against the Bills, that was like a perfect matchup because you had a good offensive line creating a lot of yards before contact against a bad defensive line giving up a ton of yards before contact. So Robinson was going to be able to just cook there. Of course, he took full advantage of it. But yeah, I would say so. I mean, I guess Jonathan Taylor might be in that mix, but I guess it's probably Robinson.
Bijan catches too many more passes. Like Bijan Robinson has gone full Marshall Faulk mode, or even like Thurman Thomas, right? Is that the other guy who caught 1 million passes for the Bills?
Marshall Faulk. Thurman Thomas. I don't know. Did the Bills ever throw the ball? I don't know.
Yeah. Oh, what? Yeah, the run and shoot dog. Ever heard of the run and shoot?
I have heard of it. The Oilers played it.
The Thurman Thomas, I believe. I'm trying to double check. Like 1 million. Yeah, he caught a lot of passes. He's going Priest Holmes, Thurman Thomas, Marshall Faulk mode. Yeah, look it up if you're not familiar. But Bijan is going to keep catching the ball. That separates him from the pack, where he's basically getting CMC type usage, but unlike CMC, he's still explosive.
Oh man, yeah, CMC is not explosive. No. I'm ready about him in regression files for this week, and I want to say it doesn't matter. for fantasy, but the juice is not there.
The juice is not there. Is there any juice there for Michael Penix as a streamer where Drake London kind of began the year super banged up? He's finally healthy. He's finally posting like huge box scores. Penix, though, doesn't really seem like he's getting home as a streamer. Is there anything to suggest that might change? Or are they just too run heavy, as you pointed out, and Michael Penix not a dual threat?
Right. So Penix, I just want to say off the top here, 2.5% touchdown rate this season. That ranks 32nd out of 34 qualifying quarterbacks. It might look a little different if Drake London was able to get in last night on that close touchdown, or that would-be touchdown. The structure of the Falcons offense means that Penix is going to have to be super efficient to post solid touchdown numbers throughout the rest of the season. Atlanta ranks 25th in pass rate over expected inside the 10-yard line. So, they're really trying to just bulldoze in once they get close. And 26th in neutral pass rate. I will say that Penix has, according to the RotoViz streaming tool, has the 5th easiest quarterback schedule for the rest of the season.
Interesting. And, that he hasn't had Darnell Mooney. Like I said, Drake London was banged up. Bijan is reaching the peak of his powers. The 4 touchdowns through 5 games, even if it's a conservative offense, like that's a fluke. Like his touchdown rate will go up, Michael Penix. So maybe better days ahead for Michael Penix, the fantasy. Not going to push for QB1 value, of course.
No.
Senior, Kyle Pitts Senior. What's anything going on there?
I mean, Drake London has reached a level of air yards and target domination that makes it so that it's going to be hard for anybody else to get home here without a touchdown. That includes Pitts. That includes if Darnell Mooney ever plays again.
What's the deal with Mooney? Like every week I put him in the rankings. Like, all right, he's going to finally play this week. I'm not going to have to remove him later.
The team seems not to know. Like the team is like, I guess he's out this week. He's just not going to play. So, I mean, long story short, we sometimes, it's very rare. In fact, we're seeing it with JSN in Seattle, where you're seeing one guy take up so much of the passing game, a limited passing game, that even if a guy like Pitts is being targeted at a high rate per route, which he is relative to last year, it won't matter a whole lot. So he's like, borderline option. You really need the Falcons to get into negative game script. So if you think they're going to have a lot of positive game script in a matchup, you probably want to look elsewhere than Pitts.
Drake London has already had 15 and 16 target games this season, to Denny's point.
Yeah,
quite something. We'll talk about the Bears and Commanders when we come right back after this. Bijan Robinson and the Falcons continue their primetime march as they travel west to battle with Christian McCaffrey and the 49ers. Coverage of the matchup begins at 7 p.m. Eastern as we take you all the way up to kickoff at Levi's Stadium, only on NBC and Peacock. Falcons do seem like they've been in an abnormal amount of primetime games this year.
Yeah, that's a lot.
They must be helping the Comcast stock price, which helps you and I. So that's what's working.
I will say Raheem Morris is a master at trying not to lose.
Oh, yeah. No one's ever wanted not to lose.
Yeah.
More than Raheem Mostert. And
yeah, really. There are a few coaches who are so good at trying not to lose, but I think that he probably takes the cake. I mean, that last night, there was very little effort to actually win the game. It was just hoping and praying that Josh Allen would not come back and win.
Which he somehow didn't. And boy, if you're a play not to lose master, it's very difficult to beat Sean McDermott at that game. And Raheem Mostert somehow did it. Yeah. So Bears, they are stacking up 25-24 victories today. This is known as the Bears number. This is the Bears score. They went, they had to do it to him Monday night. Moody mode. Jake Moody mode for the Bears. Moody just going nuts in the rain. Jake Moody, he's adding Kyle Shanahan, now I'm going to make another one. But you didn't think I could do that. He's like, yeah, I didn't think you. That's why I cut you.
Yeah, his blocked field goal was the lowest field goal on record.
What was that?
It barely cleared his own offensive lineman.
It was so insane. I could not believe they were playing for a Jake Moody walk-off in the rain.
I know, man. I know.
It somehow worked. And so Yeah, I said my game notes here. I said, first off, LOL, because it's kind of a funny loss for the Commanders. Secondly, I was trying to feign concern with Josh Allen earlier. You can't even really do that with Jayden Daniels. He hasn't been super explosive so far this season, but I don't really see any reason for concern in the box scores, the underlying data. Do you come to the same conclusion, or is there anything under the hood not looking good?
Well, we finally got some rushing at it in 10 rushes. He was JP Acosta actually said last night, in a very funny post.
Very funny in general.
Yes, that Daniels had entered Wile E. Coyote mode. And
about time.
And long term wise, I don't know if that's the best, but we'll take 10 rushes. He has a top 5 scramble rate, so that should be fine. I guess a healthy McLaurin will provide some downfield upside. Although
McLaurin is, of course, though, Denny gone Mooney mode.
I know. Well, it was bad when they were like, he's searching, he's Googling whether he has any other options here.
No one in the history of the United States of America has ever needed sports hernia surgery more than Terry McLaurin. just do it, man.
He has asked every AI chatbot, can I get away with not having surgery? And they're not giving him the answer he wants.
They're not. We digress. Sorry. What were you saying?
So yeah, I think Daniels should be good. Although, like, oh man, when the Commanders get into positive game script, it kind of lowers his floor to a scary level.
It does, but so positive game script would be good for Bill, Ja'Cory Cross-Merritt. They did not really get it last night. They were never like down big. They even led for some of the game, but they were trailing kind of from the jump. Again, they got the lead at certain points in the game, down 13-0 in the second quarter, though. Bill, lost a fumble, was part of another fumble. That one was not really his fault. That was more Jayden Daniels' fault. Got increased usage again, 17 carries. That's good. Are we concerned, though, about the ball security? And
I mean, a little. It was wet last night. I can confirm this as someone who lives about 40 minutes from the stadium. I went outside just to confirm that it was actually drizzling. And it was. JCM 17 carries. McNichols only saw 2 carries. Chris Rodriguez was out.
He was. C-Rod was out for some reason. I can't remember if he was hurt or
what. Honestly, I had to say, like, on my Friday Q&A show, like, I was saying that you have to play JCM against the Bears because the Bears rush defense is bad. It's like real bad according to the metrics, and I was disappointed, obviously, in what transpired here. I'm not too worried about it. The team, I mean, they came back to him. They didn't do that thing where they benched him, made him pay for.
Well, C-Rod was a healthy scratch. They didn't really have a choice, or was he? I don't know. He was out. C-Rod was out.
McNichols could have taken more, but I did want to mention just real quick that JCM's pass game usage. He ran 19 routes on 40 dropbacks for Washington. Only saw the 1 target. The Commanders' offense ranks 25th in check down rates. So what can you do? That's just not going to be a thing, I think, for these running backs. And I wanted to mention, I looked strongly into rest of season schedules before the show, and the Commanders have the easiest rest of season running back schedule. So I think it could be.
Very much includes week 7, Denny. Do you know how they're playing in week 7?
They're playing the Cowboys.
They're playing the Dallas Cowboys. So even if you're like JCM gun shy, I mean, not that anyone really is, you got to go back to the well absolutely immediately. Get JCM in there. Again, not that you weren't going to get him in there, but get him in there even harder.
You never know. I've seen some fantasy managers get very frustrated after one game and say, "You're benched, kid."
Fantasy managers don't ever get frustrated. I don't know what you're talking about. I did not spend my entire morning in frustration going through, again, looking at Josh Reynolds' projected points. Denny, with the Commanders receivers, is it just as simple as they desperately need Terry McLaurin back? I'm watching this game, kind of flipping back and forth. Seeing some NLCS. Like the Brewers, listen, I know Blake Snell's won a few Cy Youngs, but come on, we need a little bit better effort than that. I'm hearing names like Chris Moore, hearing names like Jalen Lane, Deebo Samuel somehow only caught 4 passes, 15 yards. The Commanders just desperately need Scary Terry back.
Yeah, I mean, more so, I think, for Jayden Daniels than like, than McLaurin himself as like a fantasy option, because he's going to be high variance no matter what. Debo was like constantly looking at his lower body, like how am I supposed to keep going here? And I feel like he was pretty banged up. Luke McCaffrey, kind of. I mean, he caught a touchdown last night. His route participation wasn't bad. What did you say?
It was his only catch, but yeah.
Yeah, I know. He almost dropped it too on the replay.
He did. That was like, pretty
funny. Yeah. So I guess for now, I mean, with all this chaos in the pass catching group there for Washington, Zach Ertz looks pretty good. Looks like a fine starting tight end option.
Never not Ertz season. Real quick, Denny, do you know who Sal Frelick is, by the way?
No.
You gotta look up what Sal Frelick did in the NLCS on Monday evening.
Oh, the thing in center field.
Yes, the thing in center field.
Right.
It was insane.
I didn't understand it. Okay, so it goes off the wall. He gets it. He throws it to the shortstop, who throws it to the catcher.
Everyone was super confused. Bases loaded. There was one out. It appears that he caught the ball, but the ball grazed off the wall, which then it can no longer be a catch. But the Dodgers, like the viewers, didn't seem to understand that it touched the wall. Neither did Sal Frelick. He was all confused. So they got the force at home plate on a ball that literally hit the center field wall. Like, not something you're ever going to see.
That's funny.
And like, it was just one of the biggest like mass confusion.
Yeah, it was I had to watch it a few times. I still didn't really understand, but it was a heck of a throw from that guy.
It was a heck of a throw from old Sal. Sal, pretty decent in OBP leagues. Bears receivers, Denny. Rome Odunze has really cooled off since his hot start. He's still a wide receiver 2. Probably are we giving up the wide receiver 1 ghost, though he's been in the top 12 several weeks in the rankings. Take us through we'll talk about DJ Moore separately. He's always his own thing. DJ Moore too. We need a news update. He was in the hospital last night. I need to look that up while we're talking. Yeah. What's going on with the Bears receivers, particularly Rome Odunze, who has cooled off since the start?
Look, I'm a little bitter because the databases on which I rely had not updated before we recorded here. So I don't have the data that I wanted to share with the folks. I will say Odunze, only 9 catches over his past 3 games. His target per route run has dropped. Not sure by how much because of the database situation. But yeah, his chokehold on the targets and air yards has dissipated in recent weeks, and so you see the you see what's happening there. I will say that the air yards are still kind of crazy. Like last night, Caleb like unleashed like a 55-yarder to him in double coverage. Like he's still seeing those he's the only one seeing those sort of targets from Caleb Williams. So the weekly like mega upside, I think, is still there. I don't know if you have like as solid of a floor as you thought. You're still feeling okay where you drafted him. In redraft leagues, you're feeling all right.
Yeah, I think that's the key takeaway with Rome Odunze. He's still going to spike some weeks, but we're getting less volume than we expected from Caleb Williams, I would say. His pass attempts are 35, 30, 28, 37, 29. And not like awful, but not like skyscraping, not like league leading like we thought might happen. And so, and with the skill core being more spread out than we were assuming entering the season, like Olamide Zaccheaus continues to play football for some reason. And for the Chicago Bears, it's gonna make floor maybe a little hard. Odunze is the only demonstrated ceiling. DJ Moore, we actually can't talk. We just don't know what happened. He apparently got hurt on a late block. Sounds like some sort of internal injury. We spent the evening in the hospital in the DMV area. Yeah. So we actually don't know what's going on with DJ Moore. But it seems short week. Seems not good ahead of week 7. We'll let you know what's going on.
Just real quick on Odunze, he had a touchdown called back. Folks missed that. So it would have been nicer. Would have been a nicer stat line.
Everyone missed that. No one even cares about Odunze anymore because all the slappies have moved on to Luther Burden. This LB3 rising, Denny. He's been flashing the past few weeks.
Kinda. All right, here are the routes. I do have the route data. Odunze ran 35 routes. DJ Moore ran 34. Olamide Zaccheaus ran 29, and Luther Burden ran 15. So it's not exactly like an emergence. Burden was targeted on 26% of those routes. He has that going for him. We're going to need to see more. I don't really know what the holdup is because Burden appears to me to be a potentially important part of this offense, especially with the Bears like either unwilling to use DJ Moore or not knowing really how to. The Moore injury could be significant for Burden in forcing him into the lineup, and maybe maybe we can get up to like a 70% route rate. Like I think he could sort of get by on that. Last night was a good matchup for slot receivers against Washington. So I was interested to see if they would deploy him more, but I think the usage actually was not so great on Monday night.
We'll have a lot more on the Bears receiver situation on our Thursday preview show with Kyle Dvorak. Bears playing the Saints, hosting the Saints. My God, they're going to run the ball a lot in that game. Because DeAndre Swift, who we didn't even put in the show sheet, didn't do anything wrong. DeAndre Swift apology form. DeAndre Swift finally had a good game. This is where I'm going with this. Like he actually did something.
He did.
Still didn't score a touch. Oh no, he did. That's right.
He did. He broke the worst attempted tackle I've ever seen.
He did. That was bad.
For 55 yards.
Couldn't remember if that was a touchdown or not. It was a touchdown or not. Couldn't remember if we need to take a short break. We do. We'll be right back after this. Tune in to NBC Sports Now for all the biggest stories in sports, beginning at 7 a.m. Eastern with PFT Live, followed by the Dan Patrick Show, the Dan Lebitard Show with Stu Gatz, Fantasy Football Happy Hour, and Chris Sims Unbuttoned. The NBC Sports Now channel is available on Peacock, the Roku channel, Samsung TV Plus, and more. Visit NBCSports.com/now for more details. People demand every show. So, when we get stopped saying LaGuardia Airport, Denny, we're rushing. We're trying to make a flight. And people are still they're stopping us. Like, we need another Flacco segment on the show.
We do.
We need another Joe Flacco segment on the Rotoworld Football Show. Flacco keeps forcing himself into our lives. It's like surely after I got benched for Dylan Gabriel, there's no way I'll be starting literally the following week. Instantly, and for a different team in the same division. That happened. Joe Flacco is now the Cincinnati Bengals quarterback. So we kind of laid it out. We laid it out many different ways last week. Where I was saying even if he was only a marginal upgrade, it could portend big things in fantasy because those margins just equal a few extra targets, slightly higher quality targets. And maybe it doesn't make as many catastrophic mistakes early in the game, so the defense can't pin back their ears and just tee off. I would say that kind of came to fruition against the Packers because the box score doesn't look a whole lot different than Dylan Gabriel's, but it looked different for Jamar Chase and even for T. Higgins. How does Joe Flacco, one game against a good defense, now another good defense, the Steelers, how does he change the calculus for T. Higgins, Jamar Chase?
I think what you're getting at here is that you can try, but you can never kill the idea of Joe Flacco.
You killed the man, not the idea.
The idea will live on. And
the idea is, the Joe Flacco, the man and the idea just continue to live on forever.
The eternal elder millennial Joe Flacco. I was just looking at, how the Bengals offense operated with Flacco under center last week. 58% neutral pass rate. That was top 8 on the week. When they were trailing, that jumped to 77% pass rate. That's what we're looking for. That's what we need, obviously, to get there for our fantasy guys. Jamar Chase was targeted on almost 30% of his routes at a higher average depth of target, 8.8, than he saw with Browning, which was around 5. I think that's hopeful. That's very hopeful for Chase. I tried to trade away Chase in a couple of leagues, and I'm glad that those were rejected. I know what I'm doing. T. Higgins actually had hopeful usage here against whoever they played.
This Packers, Green Bay Packers.
The Packers. He 20% target per route run, a close second in air yards. So maybe he can get there. First read targets against the Packers. Chase had 12. Higgins saw 7. We can work with that.
Flacco understands the assignment. I mean, let's be Flacco. He's looking at the call sheet. He's looking at the depth chart or whatever. He's like Gesicki, no. Fant, no. Yoshimus, no. Chase Brown, no. He's like, I'm only here to jam targets to the 2 good players.
That's right. Yeah.
Joe Flacco, he's 41. He's not here to waste time with any of that stuff. Maybe he's 40. I can't remember. Here to jam targets to Jamar Chase and Tegans. That's all he cares about. That's all we care about. It's frankly all the Bengals cared about. It's the only reason they signed to just shovel targets to the two elite wideouts, keep them happy. Yeah. And it went pretty according to plan against a great defense in the Packers. Short week. It's at least at home. Another rough matchup, but hopefully it goes according to plan against the Steelers.
One more strength of schedule note here. Bengals have the 7th easiest quarterback schedule rest of season. So if you're in a super flex league, you might want to look strongly in Joe Flacco. Of course, he's probably unrostered, so whatever.
God, I wish I had gotten Flacco in
me too,
the Matthew Berry home league. Man,
why didn't I get Brissett? What's wrong with me, man?
That's pretty messed up.
Why?
Listen, in the fantasy football happy hour league, Denny, this week, I got Josh Allen on bye. I got Puka hurt. I got Garrett Wilson hurt. I have Bucky Irving hurt. Zay Flowers on bye. Khalil Shakir. I'm playing Damian. I basically cannot field the full team. It's really bad.
Oh no, that is catastrophic. By the way, Brissett better than Kyler, but we can move on.
Yeah, everyone just knows that. They don't tune in the show. Tears justify Jacoby Brissett being better than Kyler Murray when he just clearly is. Anyone who watched the game. Chase Brown. We've killed the idea of Chase Brown as an RB2 thing. Is that accurate? It's looking over. It's over.
Oh yeah, no. You gotta. There's nothing to cope with anymore. Like the copium supply is just fresh out. Like you can try to huff some, but there's just nothing there.
You're going to what's that? Is it called Party Center? What's the Party City?
Party
City. Like I need some copium.
Yeah,
just give it to me real quick.
We just looked in the back and for some Chase Brown copium. We don't have any more.
Because I'm trying. What do you call the things that helium are in? Like
like tanks. Like
I need a tank. I'm going to Party City to get a tank of copium.
Yeah, but specifically Chase Brown copium.
Yeah, Chase Brown copium. So we haven't carried that since 2019 when he was on his first of 4 colleges.
That's right. So against the Packers, Chase Brown ran 46% of the routes to 33% for Samaje Perine. Chase Brown had 9 of the team's 15 rushing attempts against the Packers. You just can't get there with that sort of thing. I guess it's just not happening. Like you can do better. I believe in your potential to do better than Chase Brown.
Denny, I heard, by the way, sad moment. The final Party City in your backyard has been converted to yet another Spirit Halloween.
It's so many.
It's frankly too many. They're busy at all hours of the day.
I mean, people are hungry. You say the economy is this and that. I mean, it's humming. It's humming back here.
I knew the other day you couldn't even get into your driveway. It was
I had to wait 15 minutes.
There's so many people trying to buy grave digger masks. But there was like a huge grave digger at our local Lowe's. My son and I wanted to buy it, and we were vetoed very hard by the rest of our family.
Oh yeah, no. That doesn't work. I've asked many times for like the most horrific Halloween decorations. My wife has said no.
My wife will not allow the grave digger in our front yard. I will not allow Kenneth Gainwell to undermine Jaylen Warren, except for he is. What's going on, Jaylen Warren versus Kenneth Gainwell?
Stinks. So yeah, I mean, Jaylen Warren had sort of seized the backfield, and then he gets dinged up, and then Gainwell comes in and does well, and Mike Tomlin's eyes open wider than they ever opened because he loves making Gainwell a thing. Caleb Johnson. Here's the worst part. Caleb Johnson coming off the bye, out of the doghouse. He was in several doghouses at once, by the way. Some
of them had air conditioning. They're now luxury dog houses, but
it's not so bad. He mixed in with 6 carries against Cleveland. Gainwell ran a few more routes than Jaylen Warren. He was targeted on 45% of those routes, which led to 6 targets.
This is the most predictable development in the history of fantasy football, by the way.
Warren had 2 targets. Also, Warren, I'm going to mention this in the regression files, which will be up Wednesday on the site, rotoworld.com. Warren has been one of the worst inside the 10 rushers in the league. Gainwell has been one of the best. It's just trending in a bad direction for Jaylen.
That seems excessive. Even worse than I was fearing.
There's nothing good for Jaylen Warren here. I suspect he's not like fully healthy either.
Yeah, now that guy, no offense to Jalen, he is always banged up. Like always banged, but never serious, thankfully. But boy, does he play hurt a lot. DK Metcalf, Denny, no one is entirely sure how this was going to work with Aaron Rodgers. They don't stylistically seem like a fit. DK's not traditionally been the kind of guy you can just jam like 10 to 12 targets. They did that somewhat often in Seattle, but he's like a downfield splash guy. They're making it work, though. He's got a touchdown in 4 straight games, 95 yards over the past 2 weeks, at least 95, I should say. Still relatively low target totals, though. He did have 9 against the Browns. Is he consolidating work? Is he just making this role work with Aaron Rodgers right now?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if like just, growing trust or chemistry or whatever between these two. And in the preseason, I was very adamant about these two not working out because, Metcalf is not a precise route runner and that's what Rodgers demands. But I was wrong. Over the first 3 games of the season, Metcalf was targeted on 20% of his routes. It's not going to get it done usually. That actually has jumped to 30% over the past couple games. So there seems to be some sort of concerted effort to get him the ball more. As far as like the structure of the nature of the Steelers offense, 23rd in pass rate over expected alongside like the Bills. So what I mean by that is that it's not like crazy run heavy. It's not like so run heavy that, Metcalf could see like a 40% target share, and that means 7 targets. Like there's enough pass volume, enough target volume to go around to make Metcalf viable as a wide receiver too, without scoring touchdowns, by the way. I mean, he doesn't have to get there. He doesn't have to get into the end zone to make it work.
Denny, by the way, the Pittsburgh Steelers are running away with the AFC North right now.
They are, yeah.
How's that make you feel?
No, I've never been more owned.
The Steelers, instead of being the 7th wild card this year, are going to maybe actually host a playoff game.
I trust Mike Tomlin to make it interesting. I think that he will try.
Interesting is strong. Competitive is one word. Interesting is strong, though.
No, what I mean is this: he's going to try so hard not to lose in many games that
true.
Come late December, it'll be like if the Ravens can beat the so and so,
that's true.
Lose to the theta, then the Ravens win. I can kind of see that happening, but I guess the defense is still not good. The Pittsburgh defense still not good, but Arthur Smith has done nothing wrong. He's cooking,
except for treating Bijan Robinson like a committee back.
I
would say he's got Marshall Faulk 2.0. And he wants to feed Tyler Algier. Many people still defend it. I never will. The show is over, though. Really good stuff from Denny. Going to be really good stuff in the regression files. The funnel report on Friday. Check out Kyle Daugherty's Waiver Wired. If you have not done so already, check out my rankings later this week. And, of course, listen to Denny, Kyle, and I on Thursday when we preview the entire Week 7 slate. So for Denny, I'm Pat. Thank you for listening. We will talk to you later this week.